I'm Daphne. Welcome to my tutorial for this block in my textured sampler blanket design. If you don't yet have the pattern book for the textured sampler blanket, get the free download. Instructions to get your download are given at the end of this video. Also, there are tutorial videos for all the knitting stitches used in the textured sampler on my YouTube channel. When you finish this block, you'll be halfway through the 12 blocks of this textured sampler blanket. As you can see, there are two separate sections. Right up the left-hand side is the Celtic cable, and on the right-hand side there's the Humber Star and Nessie's Humps. After you have cast on in the two colours for the two separate patterns, there is one foundation row to be worked. This just sets you up ready for the Celtic cable and the background stitch for the Humber Star. So across here you'll be having 4 purls, 4 knits, 4 purls, 4 knits, ready for the cables that are going to be worked from those foundation stitches. It's just as important casting on to loop the second colour around the first. Just as important as when you change in the middle of a row for one colour for another. So this is the tail of the cast on. We don't want to put it around that. It goes around this one here. There it is, looped around. Now let's just tension this a little bit. There we are. Nice neat cast on edge. This mini chart is all about Celtic cables. There's 24 stitches in the middle of the panel. That's the actual cable. Then on each side there's a panel of 6 reverse stocking stitches. Then there is one twisted stitch. That's that one up there that's sitting up nice and high. You can see a bit of it peeking there. And then there's one reverse stocking stitch there, which is there so when you join it up to the next block, it doesn't snaffle up the twisted stitch. Here is the third page for block F. It's a chart with the Celtic cable running up the middle and at the side telling you more about what happens in the right-hand column. So here, while we work from there to there on the Celtic cable, you're doing the Humber Star, and then from here to the end, you're doing the Celtic cable and Nessie's Humps. The directions for working the foundation rows is repeated here. Now I have finished once through the Celtic cable pattern. So I've just finished row 16. So I've come across here, row 16, a wrong side row, and it says turn row 16 of cable. So now I have to turn without knitting the Humber Star and go back on row 1 of the pattern. Then I'll come back on row 2 and then I will continue on with the Humber Star. We will do this same short row after row 16 after you've completed the second Celtic cable pattern. These numbers here are the numbers of the rows for the Celtic cable, and these tiny numbers here are the numbers of the rows for the Humber Star. If these little numbers are too small for you to use, just enlarge the whole thing. I have just knitted row 16, which is a wrong side row, but then I stopped there instead of continuing across the Humber Star. So now I'm going to go back, knit row 1 of the cable, come back on row 2. Now this time I'll go across to the Humber Star and I will be on row 14. So I've just come across and done row 16 of the Celtic cable. Now I've turned around and I've made sure that these are crossed over. First, knit the twisted stitch, so knit through the back of the loop. Then we're off with the reverse stocking stitch, and so on until I finish that row. That's the end of row 1 for the Celtic cable. Now when I come back, that'll be row 2 of the Celtic cable and row 14 of the Humber Star. One good thing about putting these two patterns together is that when you do the return row, the wrong side of your work, it's always knit the knit stitches and purl the purl stitches. So it's continuous all the way across, except for the twist stitch there and a twisted stitch there. Finished row 2. Now I get up to row 14 of the Humber Star. Cross these over and away we go again. Knit the knit stitches, purl the purl stitches. I finished the Humber Star, and I've already done quite a bit on Nessie's humps. With the Humber Star, I kept track of the records by colouring in the diagram. But here, for Nessie's humps, I'm just keeping track of all the rows by just highlighting them as I do them. It's working well. Row 1 of Nessie's humps was knit. Row 2 was purl. So now I'm up to row 3. There's a lot of turning around in this one. So that was knit 5, turn, purl 5, turn, and you do it 3 times. So that's once, there, I've done the 3. Now we knit 10. 5 over the hump we've just done. 5 over the hump that was offset and below. And that brings us to where we will do the next hump. Knit 5, turn, purl 5, because it's all stocking stitch, and here's the 3rd time. And then we knit 10. 5 over the top of the hump we have just done. 5 across the top of the offset hump that we did down below. And 1 to finish. Then on with the Celtic cable. I won't keep going because it's just more of the same. With this row, as with the first row, you did 1 knit to start, and then you started the Nessie's humps, whereas when you do these offset ones, there are 6 stitches in there before you start. It's that simple. And you just keep going, following the chart. Here is the completed block. I always think that in a sampler rug you should have at least 1 hero stitch, and to me the Celtic cable is just that, the hero of this blanket, or one of the heroes. And here is the original block F in the original blanket. I do like the 2 twisted stitches that give a lovely definition to the sides of the Celtic cable. Sometimes it takes me a while to let a blanket go to a new home. What about you? Have you decided who will be the lucky recipient of your completed blanket? Still time to change your mind. Cheerio!
Hi, I'm Ferg, Daphne's husband. Here are the steps to get your free download of Daphne's Textured Sampler ebook. The first step is send an email to knitwithdaphne@gmail.com and include the subject Free Download. There is no need for any content in the email, and then send the email. You will receive an automatic response to your email that includes the link to access Google Cloud. When you click the link, the Knit with Daphne folder with all the downloadable patterns will open. Double-click the Textured Sampler blanket to open and download the ebook. Enjoy knitting the Textured Sampler blanket.